Today, we're going to unlock a powerful system for getting better at pretty much anything. We're going to show you how a really simple loop can help you crush your fitness goals, master a new hobby, and yeah, even find that work-life balance we're all chasing.
But first, just think about this for a second. What if you had a superpower? One that guaranteed you could improve at anything you set your mind to? The gym, learning an instrument, even just managing your time better. What would you do with it?
Well, guess what? That superpower is totally real. And no, it's not magic. It's a proven professional strategy that's used by everyone from top-tier athletes to cutting-edge scientists to get incredible results. And the secret is starting small and making smart changes as you go.
It's called the PDCA cycle. Just think of it like a 4-step magic loop that never stops. It stands for plan, do, check, and act. And this simple framework, it's the secret to getting ahead, and we're going to break it all down. Okay, so let's dive in. It's really just 4 simple steps. First up, you plan. You set a really clear, specific goal. It's kind of like putting a destination into your GPS. Then you do. You actually put that plan into motion. You start driving. Third, you check. You take a look at your results and see how they stack up against your goal. Are you even on the right road? And finally, you act. You take what you learned and you adjust your plan. Maybe you need a new route. And then the whole loop starts all over again, but this time you're smarter. So let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Our first mission, should you choose to accept it, the fitness quest. This right here is the plan phase, and you got to notice how specific this is. It's not just I want to get fit. It's a classic SMART goal. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That level of detail is absolutely crucial. It's what keeps you on track. Now, a super important part of planning is figuring out your buffers and your barriers. Buffers are your allies. Things like family support or just getting enough sleep. Barriers are the things that are going to try to trip you up, like a crazy work schedule. Knowing these things right from the start is the key to making a plan that actually works. All right, time for the do phase. This is where the action happens. You start by getting a baseline. How many push-ups can you do right now? Then for 3 months, you stick to the plan, focusing on what they call progressive overload, which is just a fancy way of saying you make things a little bit harder over time. And super important, you log everything, every workout, every weight, even how you're feeling. So let's just say on day 1, you do that baseline test. You knock out 10 push-ups? Awesome. That number is your starting line. That's point A. Okay, fast forward 3 months. It is time for the check phase. You test yourself again. And hey, would you look at that? You can now do 18 push-ups. That is some serious progress. But let's say your goal for this checkpoint was 20, so you've got a gap of 2 push-ups. Now listen, this is not failure. This is data. This is pure gold. In the act phase, you look at that gap. You ask why. Maybe you need to tweak your diet or change up an exercise. You make a smart adjustment, and then you start the loop all over again with your new improved plan. Let's see how this works with something totally different. Mission number 2 is all about applying this loop to a hobby. Welcome to the Green Thumb mission. So here's our plan. And again, look how specific it is. We're not just going to try to grow some plants. Nope. We have a target number, a specific method, and a deadline. This turns a casual weekend hobby into a really focused, satisfying project. The do phase here is like a clear step-by-step recipe. You get your stuff, you set it all up in a little controlled environment, your rooting facility, and you track the progress like a scientist before you move them to their first real pot. It's basically a cool science experiment right in your own house. And with something like this, the check and act phases are happening constantly. You're always on the lookout for trouble. If your little cuttings aren't taking root, you don't just throw in the towel. You make a mid-course correction. You adjust the water or the soil or the sunlight. Every so-called failure is actually just a lesson for the next try. All right, let's get serious and tackle a really big one. A huge challenge for so many of us, work-life balance. Let's dive into Mission 3, the Balance Masterclass. The plan is all about setting firm, clear boundaries. A 40-hour work week. All notifications off by 6 p.m. sharp, and we're aiming for a 90% success rate because, life happens. This goal is something you can actually measure, and it has a direct impact on your well-being. Now, a key tool for this mission during the planning phase is something called the Eisenhower Matrix. It's brilliant. It helps you figure out the difference between what's urgent and what's actually important. Urgent stuff is all the things screaming for your attention right now. But the important stuff, that's what actually moves you closer to your real goals.
And this is where it all clicks. This simple little grid is a game changer. If something's both urgent and important, you do it first, no question. If it's urgent but not important, like our random email, see if you can delegate it. If it's not urgent but it is important, like planning your next week, you schedule time for it. And if it's neither urgent nor important, you just eliminate it, get it off your plate. Seriously, this grid can change your life.
So what does the do phase look like day to day? It's simple. Every morning, you pick your top 3 tasks, the big ones. During the day, you use time blocking to give them your full, deep attention. And then, in the evening, you set that hard boundary. Close the laptop. You're done.
Okay, so you're doing all this great stuff, but how do you keep track of it all? This is where documentation comes in, because you can't improve what you don't track. Let's look at some simple tools that can be your secret maps to success.
And there are some really great ways to do this. An A3 poster sounds fancy, but it's just a one-page story of your entire mission. A simple spreadsheet can be a perfect daily goal chart. For hobbies, an experimental form helps you track all the little changes. And of course, there are tons of digital apps that can make it feel like a game and keep you motivated. It really all boils down to this one powerful idea. If you're not measuring your progress, you're just flying blind. You're just guessing. Documentation is what turns a vague wish into a deliberate, data-driven mission to win.
So, there you have it. You now have the framework, this secret map, to mastering literally anything you want. So the only question left is, what's your first mission going to be?